everybody, it's Taylor and welcome to the Yellow Bird. March 22nd is World Water Day, and this year's theme is water and climate change and how the two are inextricably linked. According to worldwaterday.org, extreme weather events are making water more scarce, more unpredictable, more polluted, or all three. This information is especially troubling since the world's population is expected to grow, and with it the demand for clean water. Increased demand for water puts at risk the environment and depletion of our natural resources. The solution to this problem is to understand the importance of water in our ecosystems and how water can help combat climate change, how our water usage affects our environment, and what we can do to be more water-wise. That's why in today's video, I'm going to go through some of the common factors that affect water quality, their effects, their causes, as well as just some fun facts. All of my sources will be linked down below, so feel free to check those out. Feel free to also like and share this video with your friends so we can all become more water-wise together. The first parameter of water quality is temperature. Temperature is the measurement of the average kinetic energy of atoms in a substance or mixture. Unless you're at absolute zero, which if you're watching this video, you're not, atoms are constantly moving. Faster molecular movement is perceived by us as warmer and is measured at a higher temperature than slower moving molecules. Water temperature can affect many other water quality parameters and can change the physical and chemical properties of water. One common example of this is change of state, like freezing or evaporating. And this can also affect compound toxicity. The higher the temperature of water, the more it can be dissolved into it. The exception to this rule are gases, including oxygen, which generally dissolve better in colder solvents. When all else is equal, cold water can hold more dissolved oxygen than warmer water. Water temperature also affects the metabolic rates of animals and of photosynthesis in plants. One good example of this is alligators. During the winter months, the metabolism of alligators and other poikilotherms, cold-blooded animals, slows down due to cold weather, since they are unable to self-regulate their own body temperatures. Alligators' metabolism slow down so much that they are no longer a risk to local manatees in some parts, and baby manatees will play with what's normally a threat. pH is the next parameter. pH measures the amount of hydrogen ions in a solution, which tells us if a substance is acidic or basic. pH is measured from 0 to 14, with 0 being most acidic, 7 being neutral, and 14 being the most basic. For reference, unpolluted rainwater is slightly acidic with a pH of 5.6 due to water mixing with carbon dioxide and other gases that naturally occur in the atmosphere. Each organism has a pH range that it can live within. Some species like perch are more tolerant to acidic environments, while clownfish are less tolerant to acidic environments. But either way, if pH is too high or low, aquatic life will die. There are both natural and man-made factors that can affect pH in water systems. One of the most common factors affecting pH is interactions with rocks. As certain minerals erode and dissolve, they enter bodies of water and change the pH. Limestone is one such mineral. When limestone enters the water, it can act as a buffer, helping to maintain the pH of bodies of water. Lake Natron is one extreme example of how natural mineral deposits can affect pH. Located in Tanzania, Lake Natron has a pH of roughly 10.5, caustic enough to burn skin and eyes. Natron's pH comes largely from sodium carbonate, which flows into the lake from nearby hills. In addition, the lake reaches temperatures as high as 41 degrees Celsius. Despite these hostile conditions of Lake Natron, the lake is full of life and is actually the primary breeding ground in Africa for over 2 million lesser flamingos. On the other end of the pH spectrum, carbon dioxide, volcanic ash, particles from wildfires, and lightning can all lower the pH of rainwater, and consequently the bodies of water in which the rain lands. Acid rain is one of the biggest man-made contributors to water pH in the environment. Although acid rain is not exclusively caused by humans, pollution from industrial processes and fossil fuel combustion, like coal-burning power plants and cars, contribute to increased levels of nitrogen oxides, sulfur oxides, and carbon dioxide, which all lower pH when they dissolve with rainwater. The effects of human-caused acid rain are wide-ranging, affecting both natural and urban landscapes. Acid rain can damage the leaves and bark of trees, making them more susceptible to disease. Acid rain can also kill microorganisms in soil and cause nutrient deficiencies. Acid rain can also degrade concrete and can corrode buildings, cars, airplanes, railroad tracks, steel bridges, and pipes both above and below ground. Up next is dissolved oxygen, which is pretty much what it sounds like. Oxygen dissolved in water, or more scientifically put, the level of free, non-compound oxygen present in water. Dissolved oxygen is what animals like fish extract from the water to breathe, and what aquatic plants use for respiration when there's no light available. Dissolved oxygen mainly enters the water through air or via plants as a product of photosynthesis. Oxygen can enter the water slowly through the surrounding atmosphere, like on a calm pond, or quickly through aeration, think rapids, waterfalls, or hydropower dams. Atmospheric pressure, temperature, and salinity, saltiness, all affect dissolved oxygen levels, which are typically measured in milligrams per liter. As salinity increases, dissolved oxygen decreases exponentially. Dissolved oxygen also decreases as water temperatures increase. Higher pressure water holds more dissolved oxygen than lower pressure water, so all else being equal, water at sea level will contain more dissolved oxygen than water at higher altitudes. One effect of too little oxygen are fish kills, which is when a large number of fish in an area of water die off. Although not the only cause, low dissolved oxygen often causes fish kills. Different species can tolerate different levels of dissolved oxygen, so while a fish kill resulting from dissolved oxygen can kill all fish in a body of water, it may also only affect certain species depending on the dissolved oxygen levels. Water can also become supersaturated with oxygen, meaning the water can no longer hold any more dissolved oxygen. Supersaturation is often seen at hydropower dams and large waterfalls, where the air is pushed further underneath the water than normal. Supersaturation can also occur with rapid temperature changes or algae when there's higher than normal rates of photosynthesis. Abnormally high levels of dissolved oxygen are also problematic for aquatic life. Gas bubble disease caused by high levels of dissolved oxygen can kill aquatic animals in a matter of days. So how do we affect dissolved oxygen levels in our water bodies? Hydropower dams can increase dissolved oxygen levels, and eutrophication can decrease them. Eutrophication occurs when excess nutrients, primarily phosphorus and nitrogen, enter water systems. These nutrients often come from sewage effluent and agricultural runoff and can cause algae blooms, eventually creating dead zones where there is so little dissolved oxygen that life can't survive. Chemical effluent from various industries can also cause dead zones. If you're confused as to how algae can both cause supersaturation of dissolved oxygen and dead zones from low dissolved oxygen, I was too. That's why I asked one of my professors who has a PhD in ecology, so you don't have to. He explained that normal, healthy levels of algae in water can increase dissolved oxygen through photosynthesis. On the other hand, algae blooms, a rapid increase or accumulation of algae, will decrease dissolved oxygen levels because that algae requires oxygen to grow, and an excess of algae growing will deplete a water source's dissolved oxygen. I saved the best parameter for last. Turbidity. Why is turbidity the best? Mostly because I think turbidity is fun to say. Turbidity is the optical determination of water quality. That is, how murky the water is. Turbid water will appear murky, cloudy, or colored, and turbidity is often used as an indicator of total suspended solids in water. Total suspended solids is the measurement of particles that are larger than 2 microns in diameter. Anything less than 2 microns is considered a dissolved solid. Gravel, sand, silt, clay, and algae are all examples of suspended solids. Turbidity and total suspended solids are not the same, but they do often overlap. For example, colored wastewater discharge and dyes are pollutants that will affect turbidity, but not total suspended solids. And nutrients like nitrates and phosphorus are often considered pollutants, but as they are dissolved substances, they do not directly contribute to the concentration of suspended solids. Things like silt and clay are suspended solids, and they will affect turbidity. Turbidity and total suspended solids are the most visible indicators of water quality. Soil erosion, runoff, discharges, stirred bottom sediments, or algae blooms may all affect turbidity. While it is possible for some streams to have naturally high levels of suspended solids, clear water is usually an indicator of healthy water, and a sudden increase in turbidity is almost always a cause for concern. Sewage effluent and decaying organic matter can also increase protozoa, bacteria, and viruses in the water. These organic suspended solids from sewage effluent and organic matter are also more likely to decrease dissolved oxygen levels. So, today we've covered temperature, pH, dissolved oxygen, and turbidity, how they affect water quality, and how we affect them. Although there are natural causes and changes to all of these parameters, humans have also made their impact. Climate change is a large challenge for protecting the waters of the Earth. The world's oceans absorb 30% of the carbon dioxide released into the atmosphere, about 22 million tons a day. As more CO2 enters the atmosphere, the more is absorbed by the oceans and seas, leading to decreased absorption abilities of the oceans and seas. This also leads to acidification of water over time. You see where this is going. As global temperatures increase due to greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, water temperatures will also rise, and as a result may decrease dissolved oxygen levels. A significant change in any one factor can have serious consequences for an ecosystem, and human activity is shifting all four. Ocean acidification and temperature are both on the rise, putting species who can't cope with these changes at risk. And industrial, sewage, and agricultural effluent are causing dead zones globally near large human populations. But we can do better. Doing what you can to reduce personal consumption goes a long way, and is perhaps the most effective method for preserving our precious waters. Everything, electricity, goods, driving, has a water footprint. And carbon emissions from the production of goods or from combustion of fuels affect our water systems. Driving less and conserving energy and water in your household is a great start. The next time you want to buy something, think about what resources were required to produce it, if it's necessary, and if there's a better option. Encourage policies on all levels that protect our natural resources. World Water Day's theme is water and climate change. I hope that by learning about some parameters for water quality, what they mean, and their causes and effects, it's a little easier to understand how climate change and the world's waters are inextricably linked. If you are curious about what to do next, check out my last blog post linked down below for some simple things you can do at home to reduce your water footprint. Comment down below your thoughts on this video along with suggestions for future videos, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a lovely day.